Do you know why you were born? Do you know why you were born into this lifetime? I didn't know for a long time. And many people I encounter, I would say most people actually don't. We may know the vanilla coating, generic version for everybody. But I'm talking about you specifically as a unique being. Do you know why you were born? Knowing why we were born, or otherwise I call it the purpose in this lifetime, bears very, very heavily on all aspects of your life, be it career and business, finances, relationships, the environment you're living in or you choose, um, your leisure activities that you choose, your health, spirituality, what am I missing? And any personal growth. All of this is being influenced and can be heavily influenced and change its course based on this one question: why was I born? And you not knowing it, I'm not being harsh. I spent decades not knowing it and chasing it. So I have a lived experience of what it means to not know your purpose and how to discover it, right? And that's predominantly my work today is around helping people to discover their unique purpose in this lifetime. And I'll talk more about why this is the way to do it and not kind of other ways, right? Now, at age 11, I started asking the question, why was I born? And people around me, adults, could not give me an answer that satisfied my heart. They gave me a lot of generic answers and blessed them for what they shared. But it was not meeting what I really was looking for. But nevertheless, because I didn't get the answer, I continued on my way, went through life, put that shell that question aside, and just like many of us, collecting experiences, accumulating achievements, filling the calendar, and basically, I mean, fundamentally chasing money, right? This is what I did, and I suppose many of us do, and we are sold this one narrative: become a millionaire, become a billionaire. That's all it's about, right? But what happened is, as I kept doing that, this hollow feeling, it did not go away, and it kept being there, right? You know, recently I had a conversation with somebody, and what came up was this: what if a dolphin didn't know it's a dolphin? It's a funny analogy because animals instinctively know what they are. You don't have to tell them, and they're not trying to be something else. But go with the analogy. What if a dolphin didn't know it was a dolphin? And now it's on the land and it's watching other animals climb trees and run about, dig holes in the ground, whatever, right? And it's like, oh my God, this is what I need to do. So it's struggling, it's pushing to compete, it's trying to dig holes in the ground, it's trying to climb trees, it's trying to run. And it realizes, man, life is so freaking hard. Why is life so freaking hard? Because and nobody's telling the dolphin, hey, um, you were actually built and designed for something else completely different. Why don't you try this thing called water and tell me what happens, right? So, and the thing is, like, I have been the dolphin. I know what it is to be the dolphin, right? And despise so many of my own innate gifts and talents because I'm like, oh my God, I need to be doing something else. I need to run. I need to climb a tree. And I've met other dolphins who are like this in life and all wondering, how come life is not kind of flowing? And, the thing is, like, this is because we haven't yet discovered who we are. We haven't discovered why we were born. And part of the reason, or probably a very, very significant part, a contribution to this, is the moment we are born, conditioning begins, right? Um, And the thing is, like, all the systems and people who are conditioning us at the time of birth, bless them, and they're doing the best they know from their experience. Because, like I say, you can never give what you are not. So, whatever your parents gave you was only their understanding of the world, their understanding of society, their place in society. There's so many other factors that came into play that got them to convey whatever they conveyed to you, right? And the thing is, so our parents give us concepts of what is relationships, how are good relationships supposed to be, What is money all about? What is work all about? What does success mean? What does God mean? So they are the ones who are forming our initial conditioning, and we are literally like sponges, just absorbing all this information at a very young age. And excuse me, then we go into school. School give us a predetermined set of, you need to hit these grades. This is what good looks like. Then you go to a company, and the company says, this is the goal. Make it your goal. Act as if it is your goal, and only then you're going to be, part of this company. And I'm, of course, there are people who have shared goals truly of what the company holds. Beautiful, and that's a beautiful way to live. But fundamentally, what happens is that I underline, none of those people's systems or ways are malicious in any way. They're only doing the best they can from their worldview, right? They don't know any better in this sense. But what happens is that the beliefs that we absorb, actually, it's not only just shaping our thinking and way of being. Gabor Mate teaches us that it actually gets hardwired into your brain. So the neural pathways get hardwired, the way of thinking, the way of operating, the acceptable way of operating. And the thing is, before we are age 7, I think, if I'm not wrong, we do not the cognitive ability or the capacity of critical thought has not yet developed. Therefore, we are just a sponge, and everything's getting hardwired without us being able to even question it and ask it, and being able to critically look at something, right? So this is the conditioning we have come into, right? And so what happens is that we then slowly over time, the signals from soul, from our deeper self, are getting dampened and dampened and dampened out, right? Because someone else's conditioning, the defaults are at play. And then we find ourselves alone, and then this hollowness begins to rise. Wow. Maybe you felt it. I think you felt it. I'm human. You're probably human listening to this, so you probably felt it. And this is this persistent sense. What is this hollowness? It's this persistent sense that something is missing. Something feels off. And everything around you may look picture perfect. Beautiful house, lovely partner, wonderful kids, beautiful career, money in the bank, vacations. It all looks picture perfect on the outside. But inside, when you're alone, you're like, this just doesn't feel, something missing here, and you just can't put a finger on it, right? And what happens is that when the external stimulation drops, like all of these are external stimulation, when that drops, we get into what's called the default mode network, which is basically our brain being at rest state. And what happens in that space is that silence comes in. And the silence is not bringing peace with it. The silence is bringing these questions. The silence is bringing this hollowness. So then oh my God, I can't deal with this hollowness. So we run. And our typical response to fill this hollowness is, this is uncomfortable, so let me fill it. So I scroll, or I buy something, or I book a vacation, or I go away somewhere, or I meet a friend, something. You basically want to, or you accomplish something. I need to clean something or write something. So you go into doing mode to fill that hollow. And it may endure for the duration of that engagement. You may be engaged, and maybe a little bit later, but it will all fade away, right? Because you haven't yet listened to soul. So, Viktor Frankl, who survived the concentration camps and is famous for logotherapy, he made a beautiful statement or a conclusion. And basically, he said that, look, the primary human drive is actually not about pleasure or power. The primary human drive is about meaning, or what I call purpose, or why were you born? That's the meaning. That's where it comes from. When meaning is absent in Viktor Frankl's studies, what he observed is that people will attempt to fill the void with almost anything, whatever they can, right? I don't actually find meaning within myself, so I'm going to try and fill it externally with something else. But the point is that the void will always remain the void. It can't be filled by anything external. And the beautiful thing is, like every wisdom tradition, be it the sages, the rishis in India, be it the Zoroastrians in Persia, Buddha, teachings of Christ, all of it leads to one, all of them unanimously state one thing. You cannot find the answer externally. The answer comes from within. No wealth, no status, not even love will be able to satisfy that feeling. That hollowness will always persist, right? So the way I like to put it is your hollow is soul shaped. So only your soul can fill it. And here's a kicker, right? No one can tell you why you were born. Only your soul can tell you why you're born. And that's why what I want to introduce at this point is a lot of teachings, books, everything is a lot about generic concepts of why you were born. What is the purpose of life? Yes, yes, and those are beautiful generic concepts, but they will never feel personal to you until you connect with your own soul. And that's the work, because only your soul knows why it came in this lifetime, to accomplish what. But we have forgotten how to listen to our own souls. And that is the work that I am extremely delighted to do. I've done it for myself and many others. And I would be delighted to do it with you if you would love to. So the point is this, right? When you begin to understand how to reconnect with your soul and listen and observe and connect with the signals that are coming, you begin to understand why you were born. Why was I born? And from experience, when you understand why you were born, not as a mental concept, right? Not as a mental concept. I'm talking about a lived experience. You feel it in your being. You vibrate. Your broadcast. You begin to broadcast this energy. Your aura changes, right? And this is the true taste of freedom. This is where you'll be like, "Ooh, that feels amazing. I feel liberated. I feel free," right? That's the place. And your life will literally never be the same again across all those areas I was talking about earlier: career, business, finances, relationships, health. All of this, leisure, what you choose to do spiritually, all of this will come together when you can answer this question: why was I born? What is my purpose in this lifetime? When you can ask your soul and listen to your soul and follow the leading of your soul in this, right? I'm probably butchering this guy's name, but I think it's Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He did this research on flow states. And basically what he was saying is that those who are really operating from their authentic strengths, they are having measurably higher levels of engagement, creativity, and life satisfaction. This is what I talk about: fulfillment, life satisfaction, fulfilled, right? You're not dragging yourself through the day, but you are energized at all times because you are living your soul level purpose. You've connected with it and you're living it. That's a very, very different place to live. And I've seen this for myself and people, like I said, who I've worked with, right? This dramatic shift, this paradigm shift, this move from working from a place of strife to a place of flow, right? And the beautiful thing, the analogy I'd like to use is it's like picking up a thread, right? And I've done this for myself and I've observed this with people I've guided. You pick up a thread and start to pull and start to pull and start to pull. And oh my God, this is like so many, it just meandering in different ways. And what you begin to notice is that, hey, throughout life, the thread will show you at different points in your life where soul was telling you, this is what you're born for, this is what you're born for, this is what you're born for. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it, right? And then once you follow that thread and begin to act upon what is revealed, life will change. Life will change for so much better, brighter. The real fulfillment, the taste of freedom will begin. And if you've tasted it, you cannot turn back. That's what's going to taste the best to you ever in your life, right? And the beautiful thing is this, right? That when you live from that space, the true expressions of your truest gifts, your unique, nobody else can be you. Nobody else can express the way you do and give the gifts that have been given to you. Your gifts can come out to serve the rest of humanity, right? And there is absolutely no better feeling than feeling the sense of I've been able to uplift humanity, birth something good, beautiful, and true in my lifetime for the good of the rest of my brothers and sisters here in the world. So this is where it's found, right? Now, I run a 12-week purpose discovery course was like to find and discover your life purpose in this lifetime. And what I'm doing is, besides at the side of that course, I'm also launching and creating a 4-week, what I'm calling a purpose foundation, right? Foundation. So it's basically a structured way to understand and begin to tune ourselves to soul, to understand why was I born, right? It's almost ready, and I'm actually looking for a starting cohort for a very, very minimal price. Let's say 16 euros, for instance, right? Small investment, but really to come together and explore this, right? And if that sounds like something that you would love to engage in for a very small amount, DM me. DM me Purpose Foundations, and or write to me. My email is in the links below. And as I always say, I would love to see you there. I'd love to be in that space with you and to witness you discovering why you were born in this lifetime. I love this work. I really, really love this work. And as I always say, your soul is waiting. It's your move. Namaste. Be well.